Hey guys, Sinister here in OnPointTactical, and welcome to another episode of Loadout. This is the video series where you, the viewers, give me your loadout suggestions, and then I give my ever so humble opinion on them. If you would like to submit your own loadout that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving your loadout in the comments box down below. Today's top comment comes from the Working Dead 16, who says, Rick Grimes loadout, stock 44 Magnum, and the knife. No gameplay suggestions there. Well, I felt it necessary to play this. I shouldn't have necessarily said top comment. The loadout for today, if you haven't seen from the gameplay already. He has suggested that I do the 44 mag several different occasions, and I pretty much just turned him down, blatantly been a butt about it, and just been like, no, netcode's too bad, revolver delay. But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, this could be something very refreshing for Battlefield 4. I mean, I play it pretty much the same all the time. For the past, like, 3 weeks I've been playing, or, I don't know how many weeks. I think, no, just now 2 weeks I've been playing with the F2000 pretty much exclusively, trying to make it my top weapon in Battlefield 4. I'm only about 800 kills away from getting that finished. Ugh, that's no lean feat right there. But I thought it'd be kind of cool just to do something that's not so try-hard, just sort of chill out and then do this sort of bizarre loadout, and I thought, well, what better than the 44 Magnum? Now, I didn't actually go for that many dog tags, as I was trying to use the 44 Magnum as much as possible. Now, my playstyle wound up being basically just run in there, head first, see if you can get a flank off, get 1 or 2, maybe even 3 kills, and then pretty much just get dropped at that point because I'm either A, out of ammo, or B, I lose another firefight. Pretty much flanking is the only way you're going to win a firefight with a 44 unless you get that headshot in close quarters, which is extremely difficult to do. That is also not a lean feat. Now, I'm pretty much exclusively hip firing in a lot of these gameplay clips because that's the most effective way of firing the 44. Aiming makes you get this sort of false sense of security of like, if I pull the trigger, he's dropping, but because of that revolver delay, and you have that weapon up in your screen, it's much more difficult, especially in close quarters and even short-medium distances. It's much harder while ADSing to drop someone with the 44 versus just hip firing, because it does have quite good hip fire accuracy compared to a lot of pistols anyway. You know, a lot of them, but that has a lot to do with the spread increase per round factor. On like the 9 mils you fire it, you get that spread inflation for hip fire, and then it takes a second to return to normal. Well, your hip fire pretty much returns to normal by the time you get your 44 back down to hip fire stance, because it recoils way up there. I don't know how realistic that is to a 44, but I do know that in comparison to the 44, the 45 ACP round really doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and I want to make this sort of clear. The 45 ACP is a larger projectile than the 44 Magnum. The entire reason that the 44 Magnum dishes out more damage in Battlefield is because it has a hot load behind it, which is what makes a Magnum round. It has more grains in the cartridge. It's a longer cartridge than a usual 44 or usual. A 38 caliber round is the 357 Magnum, but the 357 Magnum shell has much more gunpowder in it, so basically just shoots the projectile out at a much faster muzzle velocity, giving it a higher kinetic energy over distance and that sort of thing. I'm not exactly a physics master, I guess you could say, but that is my basic understanding of it. A Magnum round just has a hot load behind the projectile, and at that point it pretty much has more kinetic energy, therefore doing more damage. But I do feel that the 45 ACP should do a little bit more. Now, this is going to be sort of a short video because I want to keep it kind of minimal. There's only so much I can say about the 44. You pretty much have to flank. It does like 60 damage up close, so 2 shots to the chest, 1 shot to the head will get you a kill in close quarters. And it's also really weird. It seems like you want it to be a long-range handgun, but because of the revolver trigger pull delay, it's basically impossible at long range to hit anyone with it. And then whenever you move into close quarters, you have that slow rate of fire, and the fact that you pretty much have to hip fire, I don't know, it just gets you sort of stuck, and it's a really fickle thing where it's really limited as far as the engagement distances where it's actually effective. So to sort of bring this episode to a close, I'm sorry that I denied you, but please don't unsubscribe just because I was being a little bit of a loser. I do apologize. I sincerely apologize, actually, because that's sort of unacceptable from a producer who specifically asks for loadout suggestions. Anyway, that's totally getting way off topic. I just kind of felt bad, so I felt obligated to do his loadout. I had a blast actually using the 44. It's not very effective, but to get sort of out of that try-hard mode where I could just sort of run in, get 2 or 3 kills, and then laugh off my death, because it usually was just because of how bad the 44 Magnum actually is right now. I don't know, it was just sort of relaxing to be like, I know that my kill streak will not last long. So I don't know, it's just sort of a really clean feeling knowing that it wasn't me messing up, it wasn't netcode messing up, it was just the fact that the revolvers really just aren't that strong right now because of the horrible revolver delay, I guess you could say, just because of that trigger pull delay between your actual trigger pull, then of course the hammer coming down, because these are double action revolvers and it's quote unquote more realistic, but it's also quote unquote very unbalanced, and that's coming from me. So anyway, I had a blast doing so. Like I said, go ahead and leave your loadout suggestions down below, and you just might be featured in the next episode. So I hope that you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope to see all of you on the battlefield.